In this example, we're going to look at applications and rounding. Round the results of the application problem so that it makes sense in the context of the problem. So let's read the first question, and we're going to highlight the given information and in yellow and highlight our goal in green. So make sure you have your highlighter ready. Lara runs her own plant business. She computes that she needs to sell 72.38 plants per week to make a profit. Since she can only sell a whole number of plants, now I see the question coming because of the word how many does she need to sell to make a profit? Okay. So let's start with our number. We know that she needs to sell 72.38 plants. But we also know that she can only sell a whole number of plants. So 72.38 lies between 72 and 73. Those are the two whole numbers it lies between. And 72.38, that's an approximation, but it may be around there. Now, we learned in the last videos our convention of rounding is, for a number like this, we would round down because it's closer to 72. But this doesn't make sense in the context of the problem, okay? Because we have to look at the word profit. So what does it mean to make a profit? So when you have your own business, she has to buy the plants, she has to maybe pay rent, maybe she has some employees. So the profit is how much money she makes after she sells her items. So selling all these plants gives her some money, but she has to sell this many plants just to cover all of those things like rent and paying people and things we call overhead. So here is where she'd make more money or be able to cover those expenses. Now, if she sold less plants, she wouldn't make a profit. So from here over, no profit. She wouldn't make enough money to cover all of her expenses. She'd have to pay a little of it on her own. Whereas above here, 72.38 or greater, she does make a profit. So, since the smallest number greater than this value is 73, Lara needs to sell 73 plants to make a profit. Okay, so again, this is counter to our regular convention for rounding. So in application problems, you need to round in a way sometimes that makes sense. Okay, let's look at the next one. Tia is making a workbench for her art studio. She measures the space and needs 3.42 meters of plywood. The store only sells plywood by the 1/10 of a meter. And here's our question. I'm going to highlight this in green. How many meters should Tia buy? So let's draw a little picture of this. She needs 3.42 meters, okay? But the store only sells it by the 1/10 of a meter. Well, the 1/10 of a meter less than this is 3.4, so dropping this 2, okay? And then if we add 1 to the tens place, 3.5, that would be the next tens place. So 3.42 lies between 3.4 and 3.5 meters. Okay. So again, if we are rounding in our regular convention, it's closer to 3.4. But can you take a second and think, do you see a problem if she needs 3.42 meters of plywood and she buys 3.4? Okay, so she wouldn't have enough plywood. So if she needs this much, you need at least this much. Okay, so she can buy the next amount, 3.5 meters, and cut some off to get her 3.42. But if she has less, she won't have any more to glue on or add to it. So in this case, we would round up. So this is not enough if it's less than 3.42. And if it's greater than 3.42, then she has enough and she can cut some off to meet her needs. So Tia should buy 3.5 meters of plywood. Okay, let's look at our last example. Crystal is buying Halloween candy at the store. She has $20 and wants to buy as many bags of candy as possible. She computes that she has enough to buy 4.87 bags of candy. Now here's our question. How many bags of candy can she buy? Okay, so you need to do a little interpretation here from your experience at the grocery store. You can't ask the clerk, may I buy 4.87 bags of candy? You have to buy a whole number of bags of candy. Okay, so let's put this on a number line. 4.87 lies between 4 and 5 bags of candy. 4.87 would be about here. So she needs to buy 4 or 5. Okay. So normally we would round up to 5, but maybe you can see the problem. She has $20, okay, and we're assuming that's all the money she has. She doesn't have a backup credit card. She doesn't have anything else. So she doesn't have enough money to buy 5 bags of candy. So she is going to need to buy 4 bags of candy. So Crystal can buy 4 bags of candy. So again, the moral of these application problems is when we're rounding, lots of times you'll be asked to round something to the nearest tenth or hundredth, and you'll just use our regular convention, even in certain application problems. But you always have to make sense of the application problem to see how you should round to make sure that it makes sense in the context of the problem.